You're listening to the 10-Minute Bible Hour podcast, where we do fast, fun, free daily deep dives into books of the Bible. And right now, we're going through Esther.
You ever met somebody who just always seems to know when to do something? Like, lots of people know what to do, right? But knowing what to do when seems to be the knack that only a few people have. And I super admire people who have this skill set. That is not my gift, but I really enjoy watching people who can just read a situation really well and know if I act 5 minutes ago, that wasn't going to work. If I act 5 minutes from now, it's not going to work. The timing on this thing that needs to be done is now. And they go and they always seem to get it right. I got a sneaking suspicion that every single person in history whose last name is the Great probably had that skill set. I know the one we're talking about today did. Cyrus II of Persia, or Cyrus the Great. This guy, from long before he ever became king of the whole world, he had a knack for knowing what to do and exactly when to do it. Cyrus II the Great was born probably right around 600 BC. So just about the time that things were really shaken out after the big fight between the Medes and the Babylonians and the Assyrians and the Egyptians. Nebuchadnezzar is a young, brand new king at this point, and off in the little corner of the world, down in modern-day southeastern Iran, is born this kid, Cyrus II the Great. And his dad is a guy named Cambyses I, the king of Anshan, the king of Persia. That's the title they took when they were the king of Persia back then. And Cyrus II is descended from a long line of Persian kings. His dad is Cambyses I. His grandpa was Cyrus I. His great-grandpa was a guy named Tespes. And his great-grandpa was a mysterious historical figure named Achaemenes, king of Anshan, the king of the Persians. And I take you all the way back to that guy's name because it is this Achaemenes, shrouded in the mists of history, this super old Persian king, who's the guy who lends his name to Cyrus's dynasty. They're called the Achaemenid dynasty. That's a term you'll hear come up quite a bit as we talk about the book of Esther. Xerxes is an Achaemenid. So there's Cyrus II, Cyrus the Great. You know what? I'm just going to call him Cyrus from here on out. There's his dad's side of the family, but his mom's side of the family is super interesting as well because she is the daughter of King Astyages of the Medes. And King Astyages was probably just about as powerful as Nebuchadnezzar. He was really close. He represents the absolute height of the power of the Medes, and the Persians are occasional partners with the Medes, but also get reminded often that they are subservient to the Medes. The Persians at this time held much less territory, and if there was anybody who was going to challenge Nebuchadnezzar and the Babylonians, I mean, it didn't really happen, but if there was anybody who was going to do it, it would have been Astyages. He was that big a deal. Well, this is Cyrus's grandpa. So you would think that these two are going to have a great relationship. I don't know. Maybe you don't have a great relationship with your grandpa. I'm sorry if that's the case, but both of my granddads, who are both gone now, they were awesome. And it is a unique, irreplaceable relationship that was absolutely special and formative for me. Well, Cyrus's relationship with his grandpa is formative as well because his grandpa tries to murder him. After Cyrus's dad, Cambyses I, dies, Cyrus becomes king in 559. He's got the beginnings of a family at this point. He's married to a woman named Cassandane, who apparently he loved very, very much. And they would, over their time together, produce 5 kids, 2 of whom were eligible to be the king, their names being Cambyses II and his younger brother, Bardia. Remember them? They will come up more later. The boring version of the story is that for no reason whatsoever, Astyages became threatened by Cyrus and sent his main general, his right-hand man, his loyal hound, Harpagus, that's the guy's name, to go and invade Persia and defeat Cyrus and bring the Persians fully to heel in a way that Astyages would like. But like I said, that's the boring version of the story. Because anytime you hear something from the ancient past about a grandpa attacking his grandson with violence, you're like, well, why would he do that? What went wrong? And maybe it's a product of the imagination that a question like that prompts. Maybe there's some reality to it. But Herodotus gives us a look inside the motivations of Astyages, and he paints a picture of Astyages being a man who believed in omens and dreams and who started to be haunted by these very bizarre, very graphic dreams that I think I'll explain it a little bit, but I'll try to think of euphemisms and stuff because, family show. He had a dream of his daughter, Cyrus's mom. Her name was Mandane. And in this dream, Mandane is, she is relieving herself. And the liquid flow volume is so great that fluid covers all of Astyages' kingdom and the whole world. And then he takes that dream to mean that the offspring of his daughter Mandane might be a threat. Then he has another dream, and in this one, from the same netherly part of her body, grows this elaborate vine, like almost a family tree. I told you it was a little bit weird. And the vines and branches of that plant also cover the entire world, the whole kingdom. And so old man Astyages is like, my grandson has got to go. And he had these dreams when Cyrus was, just super, super little, maybe not even quite born yet. And according to Herodotus, remember that's the Greek historian, the Greek storyteller, Astyages calls in his right-hand man, Harpagus. He's like, hey, you got to do something about this kid. I had some dreams, and so we're going to have to do some infanticiding. And I was going to do it, but then I thought about it, and I was like, but I'm the king. I don't think I would want to. And it's going to make Thanksgiving awkward. So I'm going to have you do it. So go do it. But then Harpagus can't muster the nerve to do it because I guess he's a human or something. And also it looks like there's maybe some distant familial relationship with Harpagus that I don't exactly remember off the top of my head here. And so Harpagus allows Astyages to believe that he's killed baby Cyrus, who the dreams say is a threat to Astyages' kingdom, but secretly Harpagus handed off the baby to some people to take care of. But according to Herodotus, who believed that the majesty of these great heroes of old couldn't help but shine through, almost because of the little touch of deity that still resided in their noble blood. Because of that, by age 10, Cyrus was so awesome at playground games that everybody was like, wait a dang minute. You're not some normal kid. You're a hero of old. And so Astyages is like, I heard rumors about this kid. Bring him in. What the heck? I mean, it all has overtones of like Herod the Great and even some of the legends surrounding Hercules. And so Astyages brings in the adoptive parents. He's like, who is this kid? And they confess everything. And Astyages is super, super mad. And inexplicably, according to Herodotus' story, he sends young Cyrus back to live with his actual biological parents. And that would be Cambyses I and Mandane back in Persia. But Astyages is real mad at Harpagus. And I was thinking at this point I was going to read to you what happened next in the story to set up what we get into tomorrow from the pen, from the mouth of Herodotus himself. But then I went and read it into a microphone just now. And I was like, yeah, it's too graphic. It's too grisly. I can't do it. It's going to turn people's stomachs. And so I'm going to give you a tamer version that goes something like this. Astyages, after sending Cyrus away, pretends he's totally happy that Harpagus didn't kill the kid. And I was like, you know what? Let's have a celebratory dinner. Send your son, your only son, over to my kitchen. I'll have him help prepare some things, and then come and join me for a special banquet to celebrate the decision you made not to follow that order that all worked out for the best in the end. You can see where this is going, right? And so Harpagus shows up at the meal, and in the style of Shakespeare's Titus, seriously, if you want to plug your ears for this because you just don't want to hear me actually spell it out, I don't blame you. It's bad. Telling you the thing that happened in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You were warned. Astyages killed Harpagus' son, roasted him, disguised the meat with other meat, fed everybody else at the table real meat, and fed Harpagus his own son, then revealed to Harpagus what had happened. And Herodotus tells us that Harpagus kept his dignity, collected the body parts of his child, and went and conducted proper funeral rites and buried him. And you get the impression coming out of that story that decision by Astyages might come into play later on. And tomorrow, we're going to talk about exactly how it did come into play later on. Sorry for any scarring. I don't think anything grosser than that happens from here on out. I don't know. There's a lot of gross stuff. I'll try to warn you in advance if it does. I'm Matt. This is the 10-Minute Bible Hour Podcast. Let's do this again soon.